hear me, and then my screen is also visible. All right, thank you very much. Today, we'll be going through this amazing training that Zetvoss Consulting has put together. Roughly, we'll be doing an hour, so you can as well just try. Let's all try to put in our effort by 1 hour or less. We're going to be done. So please, the basic instructions for today's class: just ensure that your mics are muted, and check that your audio is working properly, and then please, as much as possible, try not to disturb the class. Today's class is divided into like 2 or 3 parts. The first part, we're just going to talk about Power BI, data analytics, business intelligence, and how to marry these three together. Then we're going to have a very short session where we are going to do a demo. You understand? In order to make the class not so long, the method I've done is that I'm going to do the demo, but I will not provide the materials right now, so that because I figure that when people are trying to practice along with the class, you get to ask questions and all, and then the class gets stressed. You get. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the demo, and then if possible after the class, I can share the materials I use for the demo, and if possible, maybe my PBIX or my Power BI file, if the class unanimously decide that that is what they want. All right. So let's just get into it. This is 20:08, or 8 minutes after 8, if you want to say like that. So we'll just start the class, and then we'll wrap up in about an hour. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
So have you, I don't know if anybody have ever wondered or ever thought about building a dashboard like this, something that captures the true essence of how they portray their numbers or their figures in a manner that is very insightful, in an interactive dashboard, and they can share this with their managers or their colleagues, or even the board or their investors. This is the beauty about where we talk about data analytics or business intelligence, is actually the systematic approach of conveying numbers and figures in a manner that people can take decisions, and we can improve processes, and we can improve processes. So today we are really going to be focusing on what exactly is business intelligence, what tools can we use for business intelligence, and how can we scale up our data analytics knowledge, and how can we really move from zero, from where we are or wherever level we are, to the next level when it comes to data analytics and the likes. So before I proceed, I would like to quickly talk about us. Who are we and what do we do? We are Zetvoss Consulting, and then we are a business intelligence and data analytics training organization. And then we are really focused on helping people acquire the required digital skills that is relevant for the future of work. Everybody knows right now that the jobs that we get to know in the past 10, 20 years are all going to be obsolete in the next, in the future that we are looking at. So the future is all about data, is all about artificial intelligence, it's not about machine learning and the like. So how are we preparing ourselves for this future? And how are we positioning our skills for this future of jobs? So this is what Zetvoss Consulting is really interested and invested in doing. So what do? We help upskill beginners to expert level in data analytics and make them very ready for the job that is of the future. And my name, I'm going to be the facilitator for today's session. My name is Fatai Sani. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, and I'm a Microsoft certified data analyst associate. I have a very vast experience in helping leading businesses across multiple sectors make data-driven and informed decisions about different aspects of their business. I'm a trainer, I'm a coach, I'm very big on community advocacy. I'm a facilitator of many of these kind of trainings. So you are in good hands, basically. So today, the agenda for today, we are really going to be talking about foundation of Power BI. We're going to be talking about how to connect data. We're going to be talking about how to model our data. We're going to talk about visualization, how to visualize our data. And then we're talking about dashboard, talking about sharing these reports with colleagues or with managers and the likes. And we'll have a concluding session. So before I start, I would like to talk about Power BI. Many people hear Power BI, Power BI. Sometimes it feels like maybe like a buzzword that people just throw around. And so what exactly is Power BI? Power BI is simply Power Business Intelligence, right? It's a Microsoft product and it's a business analytics tool for visualizing and sharing insight. A lot of us are familiar with native Excel and what it does, but Excel has its own limitation in a number of ways. And this is what Power BI looked to, or Microsoft looked to improve in Power BI. So we used to have in Excel, we used to have the native maybe query, we used to have Power pivot table and Power pivots. For some of them that are familiar with this. So Microsoft looked at it that let's bring in some of these products that are embedded in Excel and make it a standalone product. So Power BI, Microsoft brought Power Query, Microsoft brought Power Pivot and the likes, and then they made it into a standalone product, or you understand, for reporting and for sharing reports. So like I said, Power BI is a business analytics tool for visualizing and sharing insights. With Power BI, you can get data from hundreds of data sources with connected through Power Query, and then you can model these data in Power BI. You can create compelling, beautiful, and interactive reports and dashboards within Power BI, and then you can collaborate and share this report within and outside your organization. So this is one of the very beautiful things about Power BI. With your native Excel, if you have a report that you do maybe on a weekly basis or a daily basis or a monthly basis, your boss would be waiting on you every day to send him the reports of maybe today. So you get to, so this is how reports used to be. You report maybe downloaded from a source, maybe if you are using a software or the likes, then you are going to do some transformation or some analysis as you want to put it, then you are going to send this report to your boss, all right? So tomorrow, the same process is going to repeat itself. You will do the same process all over again. You download the report from whatever the report is, or you fill it, then you do the same analysis, you do your charts, and then you send the report to your boss. If it's a weekly report, it's a monthly report, that is the way it used to be. But with Power BI, you can actually connect directly to the source of that data, wherever that data is coming from. You can connect directly to that source, do all your transformation at once. So you need to build, you need to clean that data, you need to transform that data. There's an ETL tool within Power Query. ETL simply means extract, transform, and load. Within Power Query, that allows you to connect to that source, which is you extract that data, you transform that data, then you load it into Power BI. So you can really connect to that data source, clean up whatever data you need to clean, then build a dashboard, then share that report live with your boss in such a way that by tomorrow, if your boss needs to access that report, they don't need to call you anymore to say, maybe Fatai, we're waiting for today's report. The report is right there in the hands of your boss, maybe on the system, on his laptop, or on his phone if he wants to access it. So the report is in the cloud and is shared in real time. Then you remember all those reports you need to do every day. Once you've done this report once in Power BI, and because it's connected to that source of the data. So cleaning that data, I'll be bringing in new data every single day. You only need to click on the refresh button for you to get the newest data. So it's really very, very, very big and very massive. Like I said, automatically refresh your reports and dashboards. So because once you've shared this report with your manager or whoever it is that you are sharing that report with. They have it live, and you only need to on a daily basis refresh that report for them to have the latest data. So this is very big, and this is why Power BI is one of the leading business intelligence tools out there, and it's by Microsoft. Okay. Now, I want to talk about this journey, or this interaction between Power Query, Power Pivot, and Power BI. So look at from the leftmost side of the screen. This is your data here. Your data could be coming from any source. So it could be from a database, it could be from an Excel file, it could be from folder, it could be from the web, it could be from Facebook, it could be from a CRM tool or an application. Anywhere that, just think about anywhere that your data resides. Basically, you can actually collect data from that source. You bring Power Query now allows you to connect to that data, allows you to fetch that data. You can now merge and combine that data. You can change it to whatever. Maybe you don't like the form that the data is coming in. Maybe the data has a lot of commas and full stops and whatever. You can clean up that data basically, and Power Query, right, before you now push this data into your Power Pivot. Now, Power Query uses a language called M, just M. All right, it's actually the language with which Power Query operates on. I know that a lot of people are always skeptical when they hear about language and coding and all of that. I can assure you that 90 to 95% of the transformation that you'll be doing within Power Query, you can do with your mouse. So it's a low code application. Okay, so now once your data is actually being cleaned and formatted in the shape you want, you can now push this data into your Power Pivot or your data model, as you want to call it. So within the data model, you can set up relationships, you can create calculated columns, you can connect your data. Maybe the data that is coming from your Excel sheet, you can connect it to your database. Data from your database, you can connect it to the data that is coming from the web. So different sources of data. So you can get to model that data and create relationships, as you want to call it. All right. Now the language, excuse me, the language of the model, or the data model, or the Power Pivot, as you want to put it, is the DAX language. Now, DAX language is very, very similar to your Excel, to the Excel formulas that you write. The syntaxes are almost similar, just little changes. Now, from there, we now move to the Power BI itself. So it's from the Power BI that you're now talking about visualizing that data. You are creating forecasts. You are doing a lot of AI integration on Python. This is where you get to create your report, basically those beautiful dashboard that you see people create and share. It is from this is where they get to do it. So the next time you hear people talk about Power Query, Power Pivot, Power BI, I'm sure with this beautiful explanation, the confusion as it is will not be there anymore. Now, I have these very 7 powerful functions of Power BI in itself, and I will quickly want to run through them so that we all can understand how this powerful software works. So first, we have extract. So like I explained, from the ETL, the very first function of Power Query or Power BI, I'll be using this 2 words interchangeably, is to extract data. So think about any single place that your data exists. Power Query can even extract data from PDF files. You can extract data from text files. So this is a step where you get the information of the data set performed on the Power BI desktop. All right. Then once you've extracted your data, we're talking about transformation. So transformation is where you get to clean that data, you get to treat the data, and you get to clean it up within the Power Query environment still, or the Power BI desktop. Okay. Now, from the transformation, you're talking about modeling. So modeling is where you get to create relationship. These 3 I explained at first. So you get to create relationship within your data. Then from after modeling, this is where you now to now do calculation, right? Calculation is where we're talking about the DAX function. So this is where you create measures, all right, within your data. So let's say you have sales, cost of sales, and then you have quantity sold, all right? So within your DAX language, you can now start creating what is the actual sales amount, where you get to multiply the sales quantity with the sales price and all of that. So it is within the DAX window that you get to do all of this. Then the next function is actually the visual, all right? So the visual is where you now talk about creating your dashboard, your charts, your visual and all of that. So this is where is performed. So these first 5 steps, all right, are performed within the Power BI desktop. So the Power BI is actually divided into 3. So we have the Power BI desktop, we have the Power BI service, and then I think the mobile, all right? So the Power BI desktop is where you do all the extraction, the transformation, the modeling, the calculation, creating the visuals, and all of that. All of this is done in the Power BI desktop. Now, when you now move to the 6th one, which is the distribution, that is when we are now talking about Power BI service. So this is when you now publish that report that you've created within your Power BI desktop. This is where you publish it to the web, all right, or yeah, we publish it to the cloud basically, so that you can now share with your team members, your customers, your end users, and whoever it is that you want to share that report with, and then you can have access to that report in real time, all right? And then from there, we're now talking about automation. So automation is where this data set gets automatically refreshed and programmed, all right? So now with automation, you can now schedule that, okay, I want this data to be refreshed every 5 minutes. I want it to be refreshed every single day, or I want it to be refreshed every maybe 2 hours or 1 hour or 5 days or what have you and what have you get, because you know that when your data is coming from wherever it is, you don't want to be giving your users a data that is out of date. So you get to schedule refresh with what is the frequency of the refresh you want to give to the end users of that report. So the distribution and the automation are performed in the Power BI service. I hope this is understood. So now this is an example of a sales dashboard. I shared one earlier. Now this is a dashboard that has been gone through all the process, the 5 processes I've spoken about. So you get your data from wherever it is that your data is coming from. You get to now clean that data. You get to transform it. You get to load it. Then you create your measures, and then finally you have this kind of beautiful visual that I created here. So with this, I think I want to believe that I've been able to explain business intelligence as it is, and then how to use Power BI as an effective business intelligence tool to create your reports, to share your report, and then to build automation. The next thing we actually want to get into right now is the demo session. But before I get into it, I don't know if there are any questions that I need to take. If you have any questions so far or recommendation, am I talking too fast? A lot of time people tell me I talk too fast. So I don't know if that's the case right now. So maybe I need to slow down and like speak softly. I don't know. So let me take questions right now. If there are any questions or any comments so far, let's take it before we now dive into the real demo session. So, and if we can all still hear me too. I don't know if I've lost connection.
Me, I can hear you. This is Emmanuel.
All right, thank you, Emmanuel. Is there any question so far, or can we just move on?
This is Wahid. Please move on, please.
All right. So let's just take the next thing, which is the demo. So today I have a very short a business case that I would want us to solve together. This is the way I always like to teach Power BI or thereabout. If I want to, I always favor this method as opposed to just go into the application itself and start saying this is the home tab, this is what it does, this is a start tab, this is what it does, and all. So I always like to present a business case. We look at that business case and then we try to solve that problem together. So this is an email from, so we are assuming the role of a data analyst, right? So this is the mail from the CEO of a company, and then it's sent to the analyst, which is us, by the way. So the mail says, hello, I learned you are the new analyst and nice to finally meet you. We need you to help us do this some quick analysis. All right, we need you to help us do some quick analysis. There's this sales data that has our sales record across all our regions and location stores for 2019. I would like the following answers to some of our business questions. So first of all, the CEO wants to know what is the total revenue for the year 2019, and it would be also nice to have an idea of the total quantities of items sold, okay? And then for the year under review, what is medallions, revenue by location, revenue by region, the items sold by sales rep, and then the revenue by what? By sales rep, okay? The CEO also wants to see a trend of the month-on-month sales growth, all right? So Power BI is the choice software in our company. Please ensure your report and dashboard is built in Power BI. So this is the kind of way a typical salesperson or an analyst within an organization gets to see the data that or to know what kind of analysis that needs to be performed. So we'll just get right into it right now. To do this, of course, the CEO already stipulates that although you are a new analyst, but you are going to use Power BI to derive what you need to do today. So I'm going to head into my Power BI software right now, and then I'm going to have my Power BI already open, but I'll have to open a new tab. So I'm going to come to file and go to new. So if you have your, I don't know, is there anybody here that does not have the Power BI application installed? I don't know if I should quickly run through how to install Microsoft Power BI. Is there anybody here, or are we all?
I don't have it on my system. This is Emmanuel.
Okay, okay. Oluwakemi says yes. Yes to what? Yes, you have it, or yes, you don't have it. Okay, yes, you'd be. I have it. Okay. Okay, just so that we don't. All right, so that we don't waste time, all right, what I'll do is we are not going to run through downloading Power BI right now. Or we are not going to download Power BI. What we just do is, someone is trying to speak, I cannot hear you, your network is very bad. So if you can type, you can always type. But what I'll do is, after this class, anybody that does not have Power BI can just go to Google and just type download Power BI. Okay, download Power BI desktop. Once you click on it, you're going to have I don't know who is trying to talk. I cannot hear you. Please just mute your mic and try to chat, try to send a text. Oh my God. Olukayode Amzad, can you please mute your mic? Thank you. Please just send a chat if there's anything that you want to say. So you just go to Microsoft, go to Google, click search for download Power BI desktop. This is the link. Just click on it. It's very easy and straightforward. I don't think it's really complex. Once you click on the Power BI, so it's powerbi.microsoft.com/ blah blah blah. So you get to the link comes up, and then you just click on download, and you are good to go. I don't know why this is taking a while right now. So this is it, download. So this is Microsoft Power BI desktop. You just click on download and you follow the prompt. It's very easy to do. All right. So, but I won't be going through that right now because we won't want to kill or waste time. So once you open, so after you click on after your Power BI has finished downloading, you are going to launch it. And once you launch it, this is the first window you see. Most times I can just advise you to close it. So once you close it, you have this blank window open for you to be able to explore Power BI. Okay. Sorry, I just need to adjust something. So this is, once you launch your Power BI, this is the window that that launches for you. So this report is your canvas. This is where you get to create all the beautiful reports you want to do. And then now there are 3 types of views on your Microsoft Power BI. You have the report view, which I call your canvas that you can use to build your report. You have the data view. If I start working with this now, this is where all your data is. The data you bring in from your Power Query, this is where it's going to be. And then you have your data model. So this is, or the model view. So this is where you get to create your relationship. Right, up here are your tabs. So you have the home tab, insert tab, the modeling tab, view tab, and whatever. And this is where you get to either connect bring in your data, or you do transformation. Then on the right side here is where you have your visualizations. Okay, there are different types of visuals in Power BI, and even if all these visuals are not enough for you and you want more, once you come here, you can always bring in a new visual from the Microsoft Store. All right, so that is that's about that. So I wouldn't want to go through explaining what each thing does one by one, but as we go through solving our business case, some of this will become clearer. So what I need to do, the very first thing is to click on get data, and this is a very, very powerful tool in Microsoft Power BI. You see this get data tab. This is actually the very first place you go to once you launch your that is right now. So if I come here and I click on more, let me just wait for this to load. You're going to see that I can connect to a multiplicity of data sources. All right, wherever it is that your data resides, I can connect to that. Okay, so this has finished loading. So from get data, you can see from file, I can connect to Excel file. I can bring data from text and CSV file. I can bring in JSON file. I can even connect to folder. There are instances where maybe every day or every month, let's say you have a sales folder on a monthly basis. So you have January sales report, February sales report, March sales report, all the way till December. And then at the end of the year, you actually want to do a summary of all your yearly reports, instead of actually going into each of the folder and trying to copy data from each and bringing everything together into. You can actually save, once everything is saved, let's say the thing is saved or your report is saved in 2020 report folder, you can actually connect directly to that folder, and Excel will go into that folder and bring in all the reports. Let me just show you what this does. I won't connect, but I'll just show. So I clicked on folder right now, and if I just browse and go to my folder path, let's say I want to bring in all the reports in my desktop. I don't know if there are any report in my desktop. Or let me go to libraries. Let me go to documents. Let me go to documents. And let me just do, maybe I want to connect to my Power BI folder. I have a folder called Power BI. So if I click on OK, and I click on OK again, I'm going to get all the Excel files or the files that are in that desktop, and I can actually do my transformation anyhow I want it straight from that. So look what is visible here right now. So on this in this file part, which is users control room documents Power BI, I have all these different files in that folder that I can connect and do transformation on. And you can see there are different types of file. This is a PDF file, this is a zip file, this is an Excel file, this is a CSV file, this is an MP4 file, and a host of other file types. So if I click on transform data now, I can bring in all these data into my Power Query, and I can do transformation if I want to. So this is one of the beautiful things about Power BI. So let's say each of these entries are each report for the month. Let's say January, February, March, April, May, June, July, all the way till December. Once I click on transform data, I can now combine all of that data for each of the respective months for the year. I can combine all of the data and I can start to do my transformation. So that is one beautiful thing about Power BI. So I'm going to cancel this now because really I can't do anything with this. This is just for demo purposes only. So I'm going to go back to my get data. I'll go to more. And let's just wait for it to come up. So if I come back here, you can, so like I said, from file, you can connect to a JSON file, you can connect to PDF file, you can connect to a SharePoint folder. If you go to database, you can connect to your SQL server, you can connect to your Access, your Azure database, and what have you, MongoDB. If you go to, you can connect to Power Platform data set, you can connect to your Dataverse, you can connect to your Azure SQL database, you can connect to your blob storage, you can connect to even online services. You can connect to SharePoint, to Microsoft Exchange, to your Dynamics 365. You can connect to your Salesforce, your Google Analytics. You can connect to LinkedIn. You can connect to GitHub data. You can connect to Zendesk and a host of other. And Power BI is even so powerful that even if your data you want to connect to, let's say the CRM tool or your application you want to connect to is not within Power BI custom, you can actually create your own custom connection to that that data source. Okay, so you can connect to the web, you can actually get data live from the web, and with each refresh that happens on that live server or on that live website, you can connect you can collect data, or you can refresh that data. So what I actually need right now is from my file tab, and it's an Excel, because what I want, the data I want to get is an Excel file. So I'm just going to click on Excel and I'm going to click on connect. So let's wait for it to open. So this is excuse me. So my data is in my is in trainings and is in Zetvoss analytics. And then this is what I want to connect to, the medallion sales data, right? So I'm just going to click on it. I don't even have to open the file for me to be able to work on it. So the file can be closed in whatever location it is. Once it's on my system or wherever it is, I can just click on the file and then I can click on open. So I'll wait for the file to come up. Just a couple of seconds, it's connecting to my file. Now, beautiful. So this is it. So the file is now here, and these are the contents of that file. So the Power Query or Power BI will go into that my Excel file and bring up the table. As you can see, these are my These are my sales data. Oh, I didn't show you in the Excel file that I projected earlier. Apart from this business case here, the data is actually on the data tab. So this is the data I'm supposed to work with, right? And the data has the date, the sales representative, the location of that sales, the region, the customer, the item, the quantity, the price, and then the total sales. Okay, so I'm going to minimize this again. So, and as you can see, this is a representation of that data. So this is the date, this is the sales rep, the location, the region, the customer, the item, quantity, price, and the total sales amount, right? So that is the data that I want to work with. So because it's carefully formatted in a table, this is all what I need. I don't need the business case because that my data is not there, all right? And it's not even bringing out anything. So I can click on my table, this is what I want, and then there are three options here. If I click directly on load, I'm going to go into straight into my Power BI, but this is not always advisable. It's always advisable to click on transform data and try to see if there are any anomalies or anything to clean up within your data set before you now load it into Power BI. So this is the ETL I mentioned earlier. So this is the extraction phase. Now, if I go into transform data right now, I'll be going into the Power Query editor where the transformation of my queries where it actually takes place. So my Power Query editor is opening right now. Where I am currently is my Power BI. So immediately this finished loading, I'm going to add, I'm going to add straight into my Power Query editor, okay? So let me bring this here. So this is my Power Query editor right now. So when I clicked on transform, this is the window that opened. So this window that opened is called the Power Query editor. So this is where everything that talks about transforming that data. This is where everything happens. So if your data is not clean or not nicely formatted, this is the place where you transform your data. Okay. So now, as you can see, so let's say this is how I bring in my data, right? Let's say this is how I brought in my data set. Now, so on the right, I have my queries. This is the editor, and then this is this steps applied on my right. Now, if I click on this this table again, so the table is going to open up a new. So the table is going to open up this beautiful data for me. So I have all my data here. They are nicely formatted in the right order and all. Now, what I now notice is that when I clicked on that, if you check on the right under applied steps, you see that after the source file, there's a step called navigation. So what that does, or what that means, is that when I did this, there's actually a query that has been written for me, which is the M language I spoke about at first. So immediately I clicked on navigation, I had my query was written for me, which means that the M language is actually working at the background of my data. All right. So like I said, if you are still learning how to navigate your way through Power BI and Power Query, you don't really need to learn M language. Just put it at the back of your mind that that is what you are going to learn as you move forward. Now, the next thing I want to do is I can see that my data, the first thing, is someone trying to talk? So the first thing I notice about my data is that my headers are column 1, column 2, column 3, 4, 5, and 6. However, if you check my first line has date, sales rep, location, region, which means that this is actually what is supposed to be my header. So what am I supposed to do? I can just click on this very tiny button on the left here, and then I can say use first rows as headers. Okay, so if I click on use first rows as headers, you can see that my rows have now been promoted to headers, right? So I now have my dates, my sales rep, and location, regions, and what have you. And as I'm doing this, if you keep an eye on what is happening on the right, you are going to see that I have applied steps. Now, the beautiful thing about these applied steps is that if tomorrow you are bringing in new data, your data is just going to follow the same pattern that the transformation that you have taken the very first data through. All your new data are going to follow this. So you don't need to do this over and over and over again. Once you've done this transformation once, you have it for life. And now let's assume I made a mistake in some of the things I did. If I try to do, let me say I want to do Control Z to undo what I did the last time, it will not work because Control Z does not work in Power Query. And if I come here, I cannot directly type in anything into this place or not. Power Query works with columns and not directly with the cells. Now, let's say I made a mistake and I want to undo the last operation I performed. So Control Z will not work. What I need to do is to come here and delete the steps that I've added. So I can delete these applied steps to go back to the previous step I was. So this is the previous step I was. So I need to go back to perform the operation again. So I can say use first rows as headers, okay? Now, after I did that, I can see that I also need to change my data type. So my data types here are not correct, okay? So what I need to do, I need to change what is date to date. I need to change what is text to text. I need to change what is location to text, what is region is text, and what have you. So what I can do is to select all these data. I can select, okay, before I do that, I can see that column 10 and column 11 does not really have anything to do with my report. They have no value. So what I can do is to click on both column 10 and column 11. I can do a right click and then I can say remove columns. So when I do remove columns, you can see there's a new step here called removed columns, and I've removed the redundant columns I don't want. So the next thing I want to do right now is to change my file types. All right. So once I select them all, I can go to the transform tab and I can say detect data type. Okay, I can actually do it one after the other. I can come here and say click on this ABC123 column here, and I can say what I want to change this to date. So this is going to change to a date type. I can say I want to change this. These are names of salespeople, so I can change them to text. I can come here, I can change location to text. I can come to region and change region to text. Customer is also text. Item is text. Quantity is whole numbers because you cannot have decimal numbers. You cannot buy 1.5 items. So it's whole numbers. Price is also whole numbers. You need to check your data type. So I can see that there are no decimals here. So price is whole numbers. Then my total sales amount is also whole numbers. Okay. So what I'm done with this. So the next thing I want to do is to what other transformation do I want? I can come here and change the name to from table 1 to medallion sales or sales data, whatever it is I want to do. So I've done all of this transformation and all of these steps right here. Someone says, can we have a recording of this session? I don't know. I think the session, okay, I think this session is being recorded. Temitope, please confirm that we are this is being recorded. I'm not sure it is. I don't know.
Yes, it's been recorded.
Okay, thank you
At the
very
end
much.
of the session.
Thank you. Thank you. So the session is being recorded, so you can always follow through. So we have done this transformation. There are several transformations that you can still do, but our data is clean enough. That's why we don't need to do a lot of transformation right now. But if you come to the transform tab, you can transpose your data, you can replace values, you can fill in values, you can do a lot of wonderful transformation within the Power Query editor. But because I'm done for now and because we are pressed for time, the next thing I want to do after I'm done with my transformation is I want to close and apply. So don't forget, let's take it one step after the other. Remember I said that your Power Query allows you to do ETL, or your Power Query is also known as your ETL tool. ETL means extraction, transformation, and loading, or extract, transform, and load. Okay, so now with your Power Query, don't forget the first thing we did was to extract data from Excel, right? Now we did the transformation within Power Query. So the next thing we want to do now is to load that data into Power BI. So if I come here, I can say close and apply. So what we are doing is to load that data into Power Query. So the version or the thing about Excel or about Power Query, we are done with that branch of Power Query. We are now back into our Power BI. So we are going to, from here now, we can now create our model, and then we can start building our dashboard to answer the question that our CEO wants us to answer. So far, please, can you just chat or send in the chat box? Are we following? Is it okay? Do we understand what has been done so far? I'm doing this just so that we can know that we are together. Are we still together, or have I lost anyone? Don't forget, after this class, if Temitope is in a good mood, you can share the recording with us all, and then you can share. I can share my Power BI file, and I can as well share the data that I used for this transformation. Okay, so now this is my. So if you look at the left right here, you will see that. Can we all still see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yes,
So on the left here, you can see that I still have my medallion. So I have my medallion sales, and then I have all my icons, my customer, my date, and whatever. If I really want to see all of this data, I can come to my data tab here, and if I click on medallion sales, I'll have from my view tab, I'm going to have all my data. So this is my data in Power BI. Then if I come to the modeling, right? So this is my modeling tab, and you can see that I only have one table here, which is medallion sales, right? As we go on, we can always have more tables. And as I'm having the tables, I can now create a relationship, which is one of the beautiful things about Power BI. So when we get to the relationship, so when we get to modeling, I'll tell us what we need to do. So we can quickly do one or two quick things here. So let me just create one or two DAX functions. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should. Okay, let me just go ahead to do. So from here, I can start building my visuals right away, which I think that's what we should do. All right. So from all of these visualizations, so first of all, I want to even have an idea of what is the total total revenue that we made, right? One of the best visual I can use, there is actually a guide to how to use visuals in Power BI. We can share this when we start the training proper, but for now, we'll just go straight into it. I'm going to select a card visual. A card visual is just what shows a display of numbers just as a go, right? So I've selected this card visual. I now need to populate it with what I need to populate it with. So I want to know what is my total revenue or my total sales amount, right? And there are three ways to fill up this card visual. I can actually come here from this for my total sales amount. I can select it and the card visual will be filled. I can drag it into this field, or I can drag it into this field. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to drag it into these fields here, and I'm going to have my visual. So first of all, I can see that my total sales is 720 million naira. Okay, so we've answered maybe the first question. I don't know if we do. We'll go back and check. Now I want to see quantity. I want to see my total quantity sold. So I can select another card visual. The card visual is going to come here. I can say I want to see my quantity sold. So my quantity sold is 31,000 or 31,000. You can always change this from K and M to another, what else that you want. So what else can I do? So my boss also says he wants to know. Let me go back and check what my boss wants. coming back to the business case right now, and it says he wants to know revenue by location, revenue by region, items sold by sales rep, and items sold or revenue by sales rep. Okay, so I can now come here and select a stacked bar chart. Once I select my stacked bar chart, I can come here. So I want to see my revenue by sales rep. So I'm going to come and say and drag my sales rep to my axis, and then I'm going to select by sales amount. Okay, so beautiful. So I've already built my very first visual here. I can come here and say, okay, I want to see the actual figures, because actually if I come here and I click here, I should have so this is my sales amount, 268 million naira. And you can see that when I clicked on this Sydney bar, you can see that because the visuals are interactive and are interacting with each other, you can see that the data here changed, the total sales amount changed, and the total quantity of what Sarah Sydney sold reflected. The same thing if I click on Patrick Graham, it's the same thing if I clicked on Randy Watson. You can see that all of these visuals are interacting with each other. So once I'm done, I can remove all the filters. So I can come back here and say, okay, I want to see what each person had done here. So from here, I can come here. I will come to data labels. What have I done? Let me delete this. I can come, sorry, this is not what I want to do, back. So I can come here, I'll come to format. Under my format tab, I can turn on my data label, and now I have it. So I have 0.27 billion and what. Let's even say I don't want it to show in this billion. I want to see it in millions, right? So I can come here and say from auto, I can change it from auto to millions. And then I can see 268 million, 168 million, and what have you, and what have you. So that is that's about that. So the next visual I want to create is let me see, sales by location. Now, the beautiful thing about Power BI is I can even ask the question. Instead of creating the visual myself, I can either double click on this canvas, and then the Cortana or the AI assistant of Power BI will come and say, ask a question about your data. So I want to know my sales, I want to know my total sales by location. I want to know my total sales by location. Can you see what is happening right now? Immediately I type my total sales by location. So which means that with Power BI is so interactive that even if you don't know your way around, or you don't know what to do, you can actually ask the question. I'll take this again for the benefit of those that didn't see it the first time. So let me just delete this. Let me delete this. So the other way, so two ways to open up the question. You can either double click on a blank canvas, or you come to this Q&A under the visualization. You click on Q&A. So the Q&A is going to pop up. So it's asking me to ask a question about my data. So what I want is I want my total sales by what? By location. All right. So my total sales by location. See, before I even type total sales, when I say my total sales, can you see that it has brought my total sales amount? Total sales amount. Can you see my total sales amount was 720 million. Now I'm now saying I want to know my total sales amount by location. So total sales amount by location. So it's going to bring my chart. So if I come here now, can you see that I now have my I now have my chart. So I can click here and say turn my Q&A to a standard, turn this Q&A result into a standard visual. So I can click on this. So once I click on this, I have another visual that says my total sales amount by location. I can go back in here. I can turn on my data label again so that I have my data label. Okay. So what else can I do? I also want to know my quantity sold by what? Let me check again. So I want to know my total revenue by location, I know that already. Revenue by region. Okay, so I want to know revenue by region, and then I want to know items sold by sales rep. So let's look at total sales by region. So I'm going to use my Q&A again because I've fallen in love with it and I want to use it again. So I'm going to double click on a blank canvas and I'm going to say my total sales by region. My total sales by region. Okay, my region is not spelled correctly. Please, can anyone still see my screen? Can we still see my screen? Can we still see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I have a technical glitch. Let me quickly fix it. One second, please. Let me just quickly fix this. Okay, yes, I'm back. So what I want to see is my total sales by region. So my region is wrongly typed, so I can say by region. Okay, so do I have that? Do I have that? Do I have that? Yes, it's here already. My total sales by region. So it's saying that do you want to turn this? Do you want to turn this into? Yes, I want to turn it into a chart. So let's say I don't want a bar chart for this. Let's assume I don't want a bar chart for this. Let's say I want to use a donut chart. I can turn this to a donut chart right here, and then I'm going to have my total sales by region. Let me start arranging my visual the way I want it to be. Okay, so this is this here, this is this right here. I want this to be like this, and then this is my sales. Now, let's say the next thing I want to do right now is to do a trend of my data. Okay, I want to build a trend for my data. So I want to know my month-on-month sales report. Okay, so if I come here, let's see, I can add a line chart. Okay, so I can add a line chart, and I say I want to see my sales by what? By region, by date, right? But you can see that what I have here is dates, okay? What I have here is dates. I don't really have the month. And if I try to build that report nonetheless, if I just say my dates by total sales amount, I'm going to have something that is not so, this is not so, someone can really not use it. This is so messy for someone to understand. So which means that I need to create a date table, okay? So if I come to my modeling tab right now, or from this tab, I can say I want a new table, okay? So a new table. Now, what I'm trying to write I'm trying to write a DAX function right now. I'm trying to write that is going to bring out my table. So I can say my calendar, okay? So I can say calendar. What I want to do is to type calendar auto. So my calendar auto is going to return a table with one column of dates calculated from the model automatically. So my calendar auto will go into my my data. It will pick the first date and the last date in that calendar, and it will turn it into a calendar for me. So calendar auto, I'm going to close this and I'm going to hit enter. So calendar auto is going to create all the dates so I have a date from 1st of January 2019 to 31st December 2019. So I have a first table, but what I want is month. So what I can do is to insert a new column, okay? I can insert a new column. So new column, I'm going to say, I want to call my new column month, okay? I want to call it month. So I'm going to come here and say my month equals to, what I want is to format this date as month. So I'm going to use a DAX function called format. I'll open my tab. So I want my value. What is my value? My value is my date. Okay, my value is my calendar date, comma, and what format do I want it? I want this format to be in month format. So MMM format, right? Not the MMM, you know. I mean, this is another type of MMM. So I want it in a monthly format. And so I'm going to close this and I'm going to hit enter. Once I do this, I'm going to have my month carefully formatted. So I have my month, January, February, March. So this is what I want. So after I created this, I will now go to my modeling tab. So this is what I want to explain to you about the data model. You can see that these are two separate tables, right? There's a calendar table here and there's a customer, there's a sales table, but there's no connection between these two tables. So what I can do is can join them together by myself and nobody will be able to put asunder. Okay, so I can join my first date here. I can join it to the date on my calendar table. So with this, I've created a relationship. This form of relationship is called the one-to-many relationship, but I'm not going to touch on that now because is something we'll get to talk about at a later. So I've created connection between these two, which means I can now use this month here to filter the dates here. That is the function of the data model I created. So if I go back to my date table now, so I can remove these dates here because I don't need it. I will now go back here and bring in my calendar. Can you see now? I'll go to my calendar and bring in the month on the calendar into my axis. And when I do this, can you see the beautiful thing that happened? Now, my data that was jaga before is now clean and nicely formatted. So I can see that I have a declining sales from January all the way to December. Now, this is a very, very terrible figure for this organization. And now, because my manager can now see that from January, we had the highest sale at about 76 million. And from that time, we've been having a steady decline. Let's say I don't want this type of chart again. I can change it to an area chart. All right, I think this is better. Okay, this is better, right? Yeah, I think it is. So I can format this anyhow I want, but for the sake of time, I'm going to leave this like this. I can share this later if the time permits, and I can share the other files we are using. So let's just quickly go back to where we were before. Let's go back to where we were before. So, okay, this is so that's the demo session. So a small recap, we talked about data, connecting to our data. We covered the transformation, we covered the modeling, we touched on a little bit of DAX, and then we touched on how to build and how to do our charts and what have you. But you agree with me that with what we've covered so far, you can actually have a strong grasp of what it is about data analysis. I've actually used 1 hour on the dot, so I'm sorry if it seems like I'm rushing. I know this is Saturday night. Most of us need to go and groove and all, so I don't want to waste much time. So we talked about this. However, we now have a class that is coming up to dive into, because you can see that the what we created here, the kind of visual we created here, right, cannot be compared to this yet, right? So now this is where we now get to introduce our cohort to you. So we are inviting you to join our next data training, which is going to start from the 30th of this month. In this training, we're going to covering a lot from starting. We're going to start from scratch. Actually, we're going to create a business case, and we're going to solve this business case from connecting to a multiplicity of data sources. From we're going to bring in data from the web, bring in data from the database, bring in data from PDF file. We're going to combine all of these data. We're going to create fantastic and interactive visuals, and we're going to cover how to share this data on the web service, that's on the Power BI service with managers and all. We're going to be creating refreshes. So we're basically going to be transforming you from whatever level it is you are right now to a data analytics Hero. So our next cohort is going to start from the 30th of January, and it's going to run for 3 weekends. So it's going to run for 3 weekends: Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, Sundays, for 3 weekends. And believe you me, we are going to be sharing every single thing about data analytics and Power BI. And there's also something I want to chip in. I'm going to be giving a free resource on everything we're going to be covering in this class can successfully position you to what? To be a Microsoft certified. So there's a Microsoft certified data analytics, Microsoft certified data analyst badge or certification exam. Now, once you take that exam, you are qualified to be called a Microsoft certified data analyst. We are going to be giving you every single resource on how to take the knowledge in this training to pass that exam and earn your own Microsoft certification badge, just like I did. All right. So what you will learn, you're going to be teaching you how to get data from different sources, how to model this data, how to visualize this data, how to analyze this data, and how to maintain and deploy this data to what? To the Microsoft server. Okay, this class is going to be intensive. It's going to be 3 hours of learning every single day, Saturday, Sunday, for 3 weeks. We are going to be working with a case study. At the end, we are going to have a capstone project at the end. So we are going to give you a capstone project that you can work on. And after you do this, even you'll be satisfied that you can enter any organization and then you can work on their data and transform their data. Okay, so the learning model, like I said, is going to be 3 weeks, virtual intensive. It's going to be a coaching led session, and then after that, we're going to be having mentorship. What's it called? Mentorship after the training, and all of that. But I'll leave this part of the training. I'll leave this part, the account number, our name, and then how to pay for all of that. I don't know if Temitope would like to chip in anything here, or if we have anybody right now, right here, that is interested in taking up this training. So at this point, I want to take questions, feedback, maybe anything that is not clear from what I taught in the
Hello, Mr.
previous
Fatai.
session. Yes, good
Okay,
evening.
let me share the parts that have the account details with you so that I can use it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So from here, that is it. So I don't know, from here, is there anybody that is interested in the class? You can take down your name, we can follow up with you, or if you have any questions on what we've covered so far, or you can always reach out to us after this training. We can take you through that step. So we are going to be actually leading you and coaching you through the journey of Power BI and data analytics. So right now, I'd like to stop talking to entertain question, feedback, and maybe if there's anything, any clarification you want before you join the next cohort of our class. So I would like to take all of those questions and feedback right now. Thank you very much. So questions, we're taking questions now.
Good evening, everyone. Your questions, please.
Yeah, Emmanuel has raised
Raise
his
hand.
hand.
Yeah.
Yes, good evening, Mr.
Can
Fatai.
they unmute their mic? Okay, Emmanuel, please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Fatai and everybody.
Good evening.
Yeah, I quite appreciate all what you've shared so far, and it's quite insightful and also called teaching and educating. But my question is this: is it possible for someone to actually create or build a website via Power IB?
Okay. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm with you.
Via Power IB.
Yes. Okay. So you can actually build more than a website. You can build an application with Power BI. Okay. So what do I mean by an application? You can actually build so from after you finish doing your reports from Power BI desktop. You don't remember don't forget I said something about publishing your report to the web. So from the web server, that is already, you can actually customize it to have an experience of what? Of a website in itself. Then you can actually even embed whatever reports you created in your Power BI deck. You can embed it in another website. Then you can also create an application for it. So you can create an application such that people can go there and view maybe whatever. Let's say you want to share maybe weather data, for instance, and you want your website to focus on maybe weather within your locality. So once you finish connecting that your data from to maybe the weather website, you can now deploy this into your own website, and people can go there to see um, live data of whatever it is that you want to share. So yes, you can build a website with your Power BI. You can also build an application with your Power BI. I hope that answers the question.
Yes. So that is to say, it is quite connected with in form of digital marketing. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Yes. 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 Yes.
Content creator. Okay. All right. Thank you.
So someone says, you mentioned something about M language. Is the training going to cover something more extensive on that? Very, very well. What I touched on M language, I'm not even sure I went extend on my demo. We didn't really touch about M language, but in the class, we are going to be working with M language. We are going to be working with DAX measure. So don't worry, you're in good hands. Once you enter the class program, we're going to be teaching you everything about transformation, how to understand the M language, and how to even find your way out. Even if you don't understand the M language 100%, how do you go into the your queries and correct things that are not what's it called, that are not 100% the way you like. So you can actually do that with the M language. So we'll be teaching the M language, we'll be teaching DAX also in the next cohort. Is there any other question? Joy says, I missed some parts of the teaching. Please, can we have a recording sent later? I don't know if you ask me, I would say the recording is not necessary since everyone, I want to believe everyone is joining the next class. So we are going to be covering what is more extensive than what we covered in the demo today. We are going to be covering it in the next cohort. So I don't know if we'll still share the recording. I don't
A
know
quick
what.
one, please.
Yes.
The M did you mean, is it machine language, or what is the meaning of M language?
Okay, so M language is a language of Power Query. Okay, so let me show you. Let me show you. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen anymore. Can I still share my screen? Can I still share my screen? So let me quickly do this. I want to quickly show you something. So this is my, let me reduce this. This is my screen right now. If I want to go back to my Power Query editor, if I go to the transform tab, I'm going to see, so this is my Power Query. Now, if I maximize this, you see this code that is written here. This is the M language, right? So this is the language of Power Query. It doesn't mean machine language. That is just
Okay, it's
the
just
meaning.
M.
It's just
M
M,
language.
yes.
Okay, okay.
It's just M language, yes.
Okay.
So that is the language within Power Query.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
So is there any other question? I think we can wrap up now. If there's anybody that is interested in joining our class, I think this is the time for you to signify so we can take down your details, and then we can follow up with you with the necessary details on how to join the class.
You said the class is starting ending.
Yeah, the class is starting by 30, 31st, yeah, 30th, 31st
Yes.
of
Of this month.
this month. Yes. Let me stop sharing now. So, Temitope, that is all from my end.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mr.
You
Fatai.
can
Thank you for
take it up
that.
from here.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for that wonderful session. And I hope everyone enjoyed the session.
Yeah, it's quite educated. Yeah, very very
Oh,
nice.
all right. All right. So we'll be sending the recording latest by Monday or Tuesday, along with the files that the facilitator promised to share with us. And also, if you are interested in getting to the academic
Class.
proper, can use these
Yeah.
payment details.
Yes.
We also share this one with you also. Okay.
Okay.
So and you will share this
Joy just signified Joy is interested. If there is any, we can always take out down details and then follow up if need be.
Yeah, I am also,
Okay.
but I'm just kind of checking my time schedule, so I need to be properly um align myself so that we'll not start having issues.
Yeah,
So I
that's
will
fine.
No problem.
Tokwe can always reach out to you after the class to,
exactly. We have
yes,
our this thing together already. I think
yes,
We have,
he's the
yes.
one
we have
send
the email,
email.
so we'll send them
Yeah, exactly.
emails.
So we'll
We'll send them the
we'll be
details through
talking
email.
via yes,
All right, that's fine.
be communicating via that.
Yeah. We'll send communications via the email. So thank you,
Exactly.
everyone.
All right.
Thank you
Thank
for
you, Tokwe.
coming.
Thank you, Fatai.
Thank you so much. Thank you. See
All
you.
right. Appreciate.
Right.
Yeah. See you.
So
Thank
have a
you.
nice time.
Yeah. Same to you.
Yes. All right, Mr. Fatai. Good night.
Yes, good night.
Good night.